I still don't know what we heard in those woods. My friend Jake and I go hiking a lot. We've been doing it for years. Nothing extreme, just weekend trips to different forests. Camping overnight, getting away from the city. A few months ago, we decided to explore a trail we had never been to before. It was deep in a national forest about 3 hours from where we live. The place was huge. Miles of trees in every direction and barely any other hikers. When we arrived, the parking lot only had 2 cars. Perfect. We packed our gear and started hiking in around late afternoon. The trail was narrow, winding through tall pine trees. Everything felt peaceful. Just the sound of wind and our boots hitting the dirt. After about an hour, we found a small clearing near a stream. We decided to set up camp there. The first few hours were normal. We made some food, sat by a small fire, talked about random stuff. As it got darker, the forest started getting quieter. Not silent, exactly, but different. The kind of quiet where every small sound feels louder. Around midnight, we were both sitting by the fire when Jake stood up. "I'm gonna grab something from my backpack," he said. His tent was about 10 feet behind us near the trees. He walked over there and started digging through his bag. I stayed by the fire. That's when I heard it. "Jake," the voice came from deeper in the forest behind me. It sounded exactly like him. Same tone, same voice. At first, I thought he was messing with me somehow. But then I turned around. Jake was still by his tent, and he was looking at me, confused. "You say something?" he asked. I felt my stomach drop. "No," I said slowly. For a moment, we both just stood there. Then we heard it again. "Jake." This time, the voice came from farther away, deeper in the trees. Exactly the same voice. Jake's face went pale. "I didn't say that," he whispered. The forest around us suddenly felt much darker. The fire crackled loudly between us. Neither of us moved. Then the voice spoke again. "Jake." But something about it sounded wrong now. Like the voice wasn't quite getting the sound right. The pitch was slightly off, like someone repeating a word they didn't fully understand. We both grabbed our flashlights. Jake pointed his beam toward the trees. Nothing, just trunks and darkness. Then we heard movement, branches snapping somewhere in the forest. Something was walking. Slowly. Crunch, crunch, crunch. But the footsteps didn't sound normal. They were too spaced out, like whatever was making them had very long legs. We both stepped closer to the fire. Neither of us said a word. Then suddenly the voice came again. But this time it didn't say Jake. It said my name. Chris. My heart stopped. That voice was mine. Exactly mine. Same accent. Same tone. Jake slowly turned to look at me. "I didn't say that," I said immediately. The voice came again, from somewhere behind us. "Chris." Now it sounded closer. The forest had gone completely silent. No wind, no insects, nothing. Just the sound of something moving through the trees, slowly circling the campsite. Crunch, crunch, crunch. We spun our flashlights around the clearing, but the beams only hit trees and shadows. Then the voice tried again. This time it repeated something Jake had said earlier that night. "Grab something from my backpack," but the sentence sounded broken, like whoever was saying it had trouble forming the words. Grab something backpack. My skin felt ice cold. "It hurt us," Jake whispered. The footsteps suddenly stopped, right at the edge of the clearing, just beyond the firelight. For a second, everything was completely still. Then we saw something move between 2 trees. something tall, much taller than a person. But we couldn't see it clearly, just a shape shifting in the darkness. Jake's flashlight shook in his hand. The voice came one last time, but now it sounded almost perfect. Jake, Pauzy, Chris. And then it said something neither of us had said that night. Come here. We didn't wait to see what it was. We grabbed our packs and ran straight down the trail back toward the car. Branches slapped against us as we ran. Behind us, we heard something moving through the trees again. Fast, too fast, but the footsteps stopped when we reached the trailhead. We jumped in the car and drove away without saying a word. Neither of us went back to that forest again. But the worst part happened 2 days later. Jake sent me a text, just one sentence. He asked me if I remembered something strange from that night. I asked what he meant. He said when the voice first called his name, I had repeated it out loud, exactly the same way the voice did. But I don't remember doing that. And the thing that still bothers me the most is this. If Jake heard me repeat the voice, then whose voice did I hear the first time? Jake. Jake? Jake. From somewhere deep in the forest.